right, if you are just joining us here at the top of the hour, 10:01 on the East Coast, we are continuing to monitor a developing story over in Israel and the Gaza Strip as Hamas launched an attack overnight and in the early morning hours, infiltrating parts of Israel and sending thousands and hundreds and thousands of rockets over into Israel, killing now at least 100 people there. We're also learning some 200 Palestinians have also been killed in a dramatic escalation between tensions between these two groups, both Hamas and the nation of Israel. I want to turn right now to Jonathan Panikoff over at the Atlantic Council to break down really kind of give us a breakdown of what's happening here. And while clashes between Hamas and Israel aren't new, this escalation appears to be.
I think that's absolutely right. You've never seen the type of infiltration from Hamas into Israel like we're seeing today. You've seen Hamas quite literally go by land and go through what was thought to be a fairly secure border fence. You've seen them go by sea, quite literally using small boats, and you've seen them use paragliders to go into Israel by air. This was a coordinated, very well planned, very well executed thus far attack by Hamas terrorists. My sense is we're at the beginning of this episode now. This is something new. I think Israelis believe this is something new, and we're probably just starting in terms of what is going to be, you would imagine, an extended conflict.
Absolutely, and we are taking a live look over in the Gaza Strip right now. These are some of the new images that are coming in as Israel launched that essentially a counterattack on Hamas militants there. Obviously, the death toll in Palestine much higher than what we're seeing right now in Israel. Israel has a bit more fortifications, to my understanding. I'm hoping you can kind of explain that for our audience, especially those who aren't as well versed in the happenings of the Middle East.
Of course. So, look, Israel is more fortified, most prominently through the Iron Dome system, which is an air defense system. Basically, Hamas fires rockets, Israel fires interceptors. They collide in midair, and so the rockets don't hit Israel, don't hit the ground. Now, we've seen, unusually, some of them actually get through. We don't know the numbers yet. It's still too early. I think the numbers are probably low. But because Hamas is sending barrages and so many rockets, it's overwhelming the system at times. But that system has provided a level of defense that obviously those living in Gaza don't have. And so it's not unusual to see the number of deaths in Gaza be quite a bit higher than those in Israel. The other thing worth noting, though, however, is that there is a history, and I have nothing to confirm that it's happening this moment, but there is a history of Hamas using public facilities, schools, and other public venues to hide rockets, to hide missiles. And if the Israelis are going to be targeting them, then, of course, at the same time, you'd also see an increase in the number of deaths from such facilities.
Now, Jonathan, we did hear from Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, just moments ago. I know we did play that out just a little bit ago. I just want to play that out again for any of our audience just joining us. So let's listen into that, and then we can react to that on the back end.
The enemy will pay an unprecedented price. In the meantime, I call on the citizens of Israel to strictly adhere to the directives of the IDF and Home Front Command. We are at war, and we will win it.
Now, Jonathan, Israel's Prime Minister there, Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, quote, "We are at war." Is that statement more escalated than any other statements that he's made before when discussing this relationship between both Hamas and Israel? What's happening on the ground, and what do you make of those comments?
Yeah, there is a history and a period. You know, there was obviously a long campaign in 2014 where you saw an extended conflict with Hamas as well. But I think over the last few years, you have seen Netanyahu, during the time he's been prime minister, usually try to take a slightly more moderate approach. I think what it is a reflection that he and the security establishment in Israel recognize this is something new. This is not just rockets being fired in a tit-for-tat from Hamas to Israel and Israel responding in kind. The type of broad, layered multi-front attack that you're seeing, an infiltration that you're seeing, puts it in a new category. And so Israel is going to respond as it's a new and dynamic situation.